I love the idea of the wellness of the whole being, which
Hmm.
again is the me, and then the whole being of the we, and that impacts the whole being of the us. So, um, one of the things that you referenced was being open and curious and humble. And what's interesting is it aligns beautifully to our research about the starlings, the birds that create the murmurations, that they have three innate behaviors. And we've modified them to human terms, but what they are is they step up, which means they initiate the first action. They step back to allow others to step up, and then they know when to step together by embracing what we call mutual trust and respect.
Mm.
So, in your work, how have you seen these identified bird behaviors of step up, step back, and step together being demonstrated?
Mm. I was just writing that down. I love that, the image that brings up. One thing that it brings up is, when I think about what is it that gets in the way of people stepping up.
Mhm.
Because if people can't step up, then maybe the whole stepping back and together, it doesn't quite work out. Because if they never step up, they're never actually engaged to where they're doing anything together. We have names we keep coming up with this. We call it quiet quitting or whatever.
Right.
I think, one thing that comes up is how important it is in how we lead. And again, in the exchange model, we always convert when we say how we lead, we always convert it to how we gather,
Mhm.
because that is, in a practical sense, where we have the most leverage.
Mhm.
That's where the murmuration of people is often happening, at least in ways that we can most practically understand how to affect it. And in that setting, in a team, an organization, a meeting, one of the things that stops people from stepping up is they don't feel safe doing so.
Mhm.
And so, what we've become really curious about is, well, what is safety and why does it matter? And then how do you enable it?
Right.
And as you probably know, that Amy Edmondson, who's widely cited as kind of a pioneering contributor to this topic 25 years ago when she wrote The Fearless Organization, she talked all about how safety doesn't mean we're all nice to each other. It means we can take risks, which in everyday terms means we can say what we need to say when we need to say it, right? I mean, that's why most teams and organizations fail, is you don't have the environment where people can say what needs to be said when it needs to be said. I think that's why personal relationships will struggle. And so safety is the condition where we can take those risks. And I think if somebody is a leader by title or they want to be a leader by behavior, which I think is the most valuable leadership, I think understanding that I can do certain things that help others to feel safe. For example, when somebody around me makes a mistake, how do I respond?
Mhm.
Because if I unconsciously, reactively, it may be unknown to me, but shame them,
Right.
well, they're not going to step up again, right? Or if I honor them for taking a risk, because we're going to need that, and then I say, well, what can we learn from that? Then they'll continue to be willing to so-called step up, right? I think for leaders, if they want others to feel safe, if curiosity and humility is at the center, well, am I willing to allow you to see my own flexibility?
Mhm.
Do I reveal when I'm open and that you said something and I allowed it to change my mind?
Right.
That's actually a way for others to feel safe. Being open to others' perspectives is if I model it, not command it or coerce it, but
Exactly.
model it.
Exactly.
And there's a long list of things that we've learned can contribute to others feeling safe. Acknowledging that I don't have the answer,
Mhm.
I don't know, is
Mhm.
actually a fast way for others to feel safe because they're not going to have all the answers. So to me, that's just a very practical place where we can explore how do we enable people to even step up in the first place.
Mhm.
And then I think once people are willing to step up, if we have humility, we're willing to step back, and then we can do things together. But that was the first thing that came up for me
Yeah,
when you
no,
shared
that's
that.
beautiful. Absolutely. Yeah.